actually hadn't seen the series prior to being in it.
Okay.
My introduction to
Cardinal
the
sin.
series yeah, exactly. My introduction to the series was actually just suddenly finding myself acting in it, and then playing catch up. So I was watching it while we started filming, because I actually got this role. And you're right, it was it's a massive job to to step into. It was a wonderful opportunity, but I got this role unexpectedly. There was another actor that had to fall out, unfortunately, and so I got a slew of panic phone calls on a Friday evening late, as I live in Galway in the west coast of Ireland, and I got this slew of phone calls, 9 p.m. in Ireland. I had to do an emergency audition and meeting with the showrunner of Reacher. On Saturday, I got the job. On Saturday, I was on a plane and I found myself on set Monday morning standing next to Alan Ritchson as we set off on an epic adventure to go chase bad guys together. And so that was so I had no time to watch the show or prepare or think about it or even know. I didn't have time to read the scripts before I was filming on Monday. So yeah, I knew what I was stepping into for sure, but in some way, but really no time to explore the series prior.
And arriving Canada on the first day of set and standing in front of Alan Richardson in front of you, dare I say, when he shook your hand for the first time, did you see
Did he
the
break
physic
it?
the physical enormity of the man?
Yes, he is. Yes, there's no way to not see the physical enormity of the man. There's no way to not see the man. He's the only human being I've been around where, if he steps in your line of vision, like where you're in a crowded space, you have to take 3 steps to get around him. Like
Yeah.
any other human, you can kind of lean, a few inches in a direction and see around them. This man, I found myself every now and then taking multiple steps to to get out of his line of sight. So yeah, yeah, big dude, very big dude.
And what was that first conversation like with Alan? Because obviously he's poured his heart and soul into this series. He's done 3 seasons so far, highly successful, and I suppose he carries the weight of the show on his shoulders to great success. But is he very sort of meticulous? Do you get that sense from the first conversation with the guy that this is something that he really is passionate and fully invested in terms of making it a complete success?
100%. Yeah. I mean, this role changed his life. He was a hustling, gigging, working actor for a really long time. And I don't think anyone anticipated the success of this show, himself included. But, after the first season, his life changed as an actor. And I think that's probably for a lot of people reason to maybe take your foot off the gas in terms of effort and focus. And you ride a lot of like, because, he became a celebrity. So you can ride a lot of the perks of being a celebrity and pay a lot less attention to the work. I think he went in the opposite direction. He very much, doubled down on his focus and commitment and passion for Reacher itself and for acting. And he's got, like all of us did, we step into this show, and people may not notice, but a lot of the scenes of the series are these long, heavy dialogue scenes, like a play more than what's a traditional television show, in that we have scenes that are 6 pages long with dialogue. That's not something you can kind of come in and wing. You can't memorize that the day of or the night before. There's a lot of preparation that goes into this, and there's a super demanding schedule. I mean, we were filming sometimes, we're doing action sequences and then these heavy dramatic scenes and then back to action sequences. Like it doesn't really, it's relentless. It's a relentless work schedule. So he leads by example, and he shows up really committed, on time, ready to go, totally prepared, and I met that that energy and that focus to the best of my ability.
And Chris, we all know at this stage, Alan has a 101 sort of stunt sequences to do throughout, not only the entire series, but in every episode. But how about yourself, without giving too much away? Are you on the move a lot throughout season 4 of Reacher? Are you in situations that you find yourself in tricky scenarios, combat situations, handing any sort of weaponry or stuff like that? Or dare I say, are you heavily involved in terms of the stunt sequences as well?
Oh yeah, no, I'm in. I mean, I found myself very much like the story I just told you on a personal level, sort of just getting dropped in this world. That's it. It mirrors what the character goes through. You know, there's I play this small town cop who is suddenly wrapped up in Reacher world, you know, because you essentially look at Reacher, right? And that's the guy who's supposed to go punish those responsible for an injustice. You look at me and you're like, that guy works in tech. Like that's not exactly that's not historically what I'm viewed as and the opportunities I've been given as an actor. But this role is that it's me and Reacher, and Sidel Noel plays a character named Tamara, a detective. It's the three of us teaming up together to unravel a tragic mystery that turns into an epic action adventure. So yeah, I am very much, I'm driving getaway cars. I get shot at. A beautiful woman crushes on me. I do action hero stuff. It's wild. It's so wild. So yeah, and I did all my own stunts. Sans one, which was great because the stuntman almost got his eye taken out. So I showed up in that respect as well. And Alan does all his own stunts. Tom Cruise is famous for doing all his own stunts, and he did in the Reacher movies. And so I begged the wonderful stunt team to give me a shot. They did. I succeeded, and that snowballed. They let me do everything, which was so awesome.
And Chris, I'm conscious now not to give too much away for the viewers that are going to be watching it or watching it today or afterwards, or who probably see this first before they see Reacher as well. So I'm kind of conscious, but there's an interesting family dynamic in terms of your character and that runs through the series in terms of family members, and we start to does that get flushed out thoroughly? We're introduced to it in the first one or two episodes that sort of dropped out in terms of the family connection. But is there more of that to be unraveled as the season goes on?
There is, yeah. I mean, the character I play, you really get to know his backstory in life and how he ended up where he ends up and his family life. In fact, there's some really cool twists to it where you get to know another family member of his. I mean, the journey of the show is that Jacob Merrick's unfortunate tragedy with his family, and that is the crime that they are all trying, and the mystery that everyone's trying to unravel and fight against. So yeah, you very much go into it, and you learn this in the first episode, which drops today, is this woman dies under some questionable circumstances, and that woman happens to be the sister of the character I played, and you find out immediately that they were adopted and they had this unique history and life together, and from there, it unravels in some more unexpected ways. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously you're started talking about sequences in terms of New York, but that were filmed in Canada. So in terms of trying to portray those sorts of sequences in terms of the Lee Childs and be sort of definitive to what sort of was going on, um, was there sort of how long did it really take to shoot an episode in Reacher? Did you do a good lot of block shooting, or did you go right? Table read episode one, start to finish, wrap it up in say 7 to 10 days, and then on to episode two, or was there constantly jumping between certain parts?
That's a great question. No, it was insane. We do shoot it in blocks, but what we do is we shoot 3 episodes in one block, then the next 2 episodes another block, and then the final 3 episodes in the third block. However, the main characters, me and Alan and Sidel and Agnes and Angoon, that we're in all of them, and so we end up in all the blocks shooting really at the same time. So
Okay.
I remember there was a week-long period where I was like, I think we shot 5 episodes in one week, like scenes from
Wow.
5 separate episodes, which for a lot of people, I'll be honest, for a lot of the other characters is really, it's like just another day. Like it's just another crime they're trying to solve. They're just another action sequence. For the character I played, this guy's life is slowly burning to the ground. He's like under this immense amount of trauma and duress as this story unfolds. So for me, I had days where I was like, where am I in this wild journey, and where do I need to be, and how do I map out this what I wanted to be was a roller coaster ride, not a linear, narrative where it just, yep, this happens, then this happens. I wanted this to feel quite unexpected. So no, we filmed it all at the same time. It was absolutely insane. There was no easy metric or cadence to it at all.
And tell us, I know you probably accustomed to seeing the series yourself in advance. When was the first time that you got to saw the finished product, and did it take you even by surprise?
It did. Yeah, yeah. I got to see it all. I mean, I got to see a bunch while we shot. They would show me some rough cuts, which was nice. And then I got to see a bunch in ADR about 6 months ago where you get to do some looping. So I got to see a bit of it cut together. But I really finally got to see the final product about 3 weeks ago, almost 4 weeks ago. And I love it. I really was very proud of how it all came out. It's so cool and for me rare to walk away from something and go, well, I have no idea how that's going to come together because I mean, there's sequences we have that the audience will find later. We filmed on a fake bridge that they built on a cornfield that when someone watches, they will have no idea that that's not actually above a river, that is just that we're actually laying flat on a cornfield and doing these wild stunts.
Wow.
So, for me to watch things come together with the CGI and with all the post-production that they need to do, was a really awesome experience. Um,
And Chris, before we wrap up, just one or
Mhm.
two things. I do believe you have some Irish connection, dare I say, or some Irish news, and you have some projects that you're working on at the moment as well.
I am, yeah. I just began writing for Screen Ireland. I live in Ireland full time and have for years now. And I began writing for Screen Ireland and a wonderful production company in Galway, Eru Films, a television show that I created and about an American who immigrates to the Emerald Isle called the Yank. And it's a semi-autobiographical comedy tale similar to Ted Lasso, real fish out of water as someone an American acclimates to a small town in the west of Ireland, and my genuine experience of living there and the wonderful connection and beautiful connection of America and Ireland and what I think is hilarious cultural differences on vastly different ends of the spectrum and how those things can clash in very funny uh, and very healing ways, actually.
Chris, I know you're a very busy man, so I'm just going to turn it over, especially today of all days, you're a very busy man, but I'm just going to turn it over to you now for the final 30 seconds. And you might enlighten our audience, all our listeners, if maybe they've been hibernating for the last 6 months or living under a stone and or been cast away at sea and finally have made their way back to the common ground, seen a TV and said, what's this Reacher about? They're going to check it out now on Amazon Prime. And when they do, Chris Marquette, what's in store for them?
Well, if you have been living under a rock or lost out at sea, welcome back to society and civilization. I hope you get a really good meal in you, and I hope there's some sunshine for you to enjoy. Yes, Reacher is a wonderful, amazing, epic, super fun television show to watch based on a great book series. I think it's the kind of viewing that we unfortunately lack these days. Just something that like is pure entertainment. And I think this particular season, you don't need to have seen anything prior. Each season is based on a new book. It's a start to finish story. It's all new characters. You can just jump in. And I think if you're looking for something really to just enjoy some easy watching, but that also kind of gives you some good mystery and thrills and some cool acting, then I think hop in and watch Reacher season 4.